but it was a really, really good game. And hopefully we can see what they can do and what this new Orphic roster can do, as we are loading into Villa. So operate bans, what we expect to see. I think Thatcher is the big let's get rid of him ban. We could see something like an ace if either team is feeling a bit adventurous, or we'll just see some standard attacker bans. Mira, Kaid, those are going to be the big two defensive bans. Clash as well. Not really sure how much either team likes to bash the Clash, but with those long hallways, she's really annoying. And so we could also see a Monty ban. But first op ban is, of course, going to be the ace. No big surprises there. Even though he lost the smokes, the fact that he can breach the wall from about 84 miles away outside, and this is study wall we're talking about, means he's incredibly annoying to defend against. So only deciding, yeah, we can deal with a Thatcher, we just don't want to deal with this ace. At least with Habana, she does it a lot slower, as ace just throws them all at once. And Fairmount, you've got to get right up close to that wall. It will be the Thatcher ban coming out from Orphic. That is pretty standard. He is incredibly strong, so I'm expecting Orphic to then ban out the Kaid just because Thatcher's banned, and it means he is really annoying to deal with. And we will just wait for the time to tick. I think Kaid and Mira are going to be the two defender bans. Those would be what I'd expect at least.
Got the first one
and
right.
Yep, there is the Mira. So the last one I would say should be Kaid, but as Oni are defending first, they may try to ban someone like the Valkyrie, just because there's a lot of external terrain, and that way you can keep the Kaid up for yourself. I think those would be the most standard ban. But no, it's Vigil, and that's a target ban onto Hayden. So,
You reckon?
Hayden is the most aggressive player. When Herindapool wasn't playing, he was always on roaming duties on that Vigil, and then Herindapool was put on the duty, Vigil duty then, but with him and no longer being on this team, Hayden probably going to be on that Vigil. And it just shows that maybe Oni aren't that great at comms, well, not as good as they would like to be at comms at the moment. So they'll actually go to Dining Kitchen first, and well, the
It's an interesting choice. I like to
side
see it.
of I like to see it as well. You could always use this as a bait. Flores is going to be sick picked at the moment, which is quite sad indeed to the Jackal. But with Dining Kitchen, you basically know it's going to be there once the castle's there. So you could do some mind games where you don't actually go for the site and you sick pick off the castle. But yeah, this should be an interesting one. There's a lot of smokes being brought from the side of Orphic, so I think there'll probably be 6 unless somebody's brought something else. There might be breaches on the Jackal, but yeah, there are breaches on the
giveaway on this one, isn't it? Because you don't normally bring Castle to the top floor sites normally. I mean, you use them on the top floor, but only when you're defending the bottom floor, most likely. So, yeah, interesting to not bait that a little bit. So that allows the attackers to bring out all of the vertical destruction they're going to need. However, they're not bringing loads. They've decided not to bring Sledge or Buck, even though they've had the giveaway. They've decided instead to swap the Flores, like you say, for the Jackal. Whereas personally, I would like to have seen a bit more vertical destruction. So we are going to have breaching charges, I suspect, in the back pocket of Ash, as well as Zofia, who we can see does have 3. So there is some vertical destruction available, just not as much as you might like to have when you're attacking from above. So we do have 6 breaching charges. That's great. But for me, we could see a push through Pantry just as much as we're going to see on the floor. We've had Jackal being brought out to play, but he's coming in actually above the site, whereas we're going to have Joshi and Hayden coming over from the other side of the building, which I'd expect Jackal to come over from this side, to be honest, to really hunt down those roamers. We do have Simple Simon playing here, waiting to get a pick, but El Stapo up on that roof is just going to shut him down immediately. So Simple Simon doesn't even last through the first minute of the game. It does get knocked out pretty much immediately, as Stapo on the Jackal does now go over and join his teammate Zofia to track those footprints and find the players. And he is going to spot the footprints of Legion, and they're going to track him down, but it does look like he's on site, so that's not going to be that useful unless they're going to shoot him from above. So Joe at the moment will need to be worried about what's happening up above him. Now, I'd assume that Sinan did actually get his barricades down in time up on that top floor. Joe gets a refrag there, taking it to 4-4. That's actually on site. That's through the floor as he's getting shot from above. He's going to get shots fired from another one, and he is going to do some damage to El Stapo up there, who's going to be looking through to try to get those footprints again to track him. And he's looking around through those railings, trying to find YJo, but he has moved to a spot where he is safe, and Stapo is just starting to worry about a possible flank. It's Killer 64 continues on the floor, along with Joshi, while Zika is outside just watching on studio, waiting for someone to try and take a pot shot at him. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, as Killer 64 also takes some damage from up above. And of course, Killer 64 actually has the shotgun along with El Stapo, so they do have that vertical destruction. I've forgotten completely about the option for shotguns here on these two operators. So actually, yeah, this is a good lineup for a top 4 take. Now, Shines obviously realizes that we do have Thermite outside on the laundry wall, and he is going to be getting ready to open up that laundry wall so that he can go in and plant in a pretty default spot, which would be right here by the bomb on that table, as Shines does get taken out of the play. He's in a 3 versus 4 with Killer 64 taking a whole load of damage, very near to death now, but not as close as Joe, who is out of the ground, leaving just Psycho and Vea all on their own against a 4-man team. Now, that's the player with the diffuser dropped, and as Psycho goes down, Vea looks the wrong way and doesn't manage to get the frag on the other player moving up to that breach. Is Psycho going to get revived, as El Stapo is coming from behind? Vea has no idea. He's likely to get shot in the back. But Stapo's actually going outside, which might not be the smartest of plays, as Vea takes down Joshi. This could be the round. Oh no! But just from behind. Just from behind, we see... Is that El Stapo? I think... Oh, yes, that is El Stapo playing on Jackal. Just comes in from behind. Either way he came into sight, he was going to get a kill from behind, I think. So, very close there. But only do manage to take... Sorry, Orphic do manage to take round number 1.
That is the risk you take when you want to go to dining first, especially if you're not gonna bait the castle or like secretly 6-pick it. You do leave yourself vulnerable to those attacks. There was no real top floor hold either. The attackers just sort of walked in with the amount of vertical destructibility they had. They could start shotgunning everything, opening it up, making it really difficult to defend. And it's really unfortunate losing Jaeger so early on, as he was your key roamer. It seemed that once that happened, Oni decided, no, we're all going to sit on site, we'll play super passive and hope for the best. But you can't play passive when, you know, you've got Orphic open up all the floor above you, and it proved really, really difficult to deal with. We are going to head to Aviator Games though. We won't see the Monty, as Stapo will 6-pick back to the Jackal. And we'll have to see if this more standard site can favour Oni's sort of strategy. They do bring the Ella for the shield.
I like to play Ella with a shield on this one. I found lately I have a whole play doing stuff, which isn't going to be done here by Oni because that would be silly. It could work. It could work. I like to put a reinforcement on this hatch as Ella. Stick a shield here. Put a goo mine. Goo mine? Not goo mine. What are they called? Grismon up here. And as soon as someone pushes in from behind the shield, just pop up and take them out. And it's very difficult to push a player out of here. I mean, it's not impossible. You can go down below, use Lana or Ace to open up that hatch to make them drop. But unless you do something like that, it is surprisingly difficult to move a player out of this corner because they're not exposed to this window over here. They're only exposed to this doorway over here. But with good cover, you can keep that safe. It'd be interesting to see a play like that come out one day. But like I say, probably won't, because at this level, it should be ridiculous. But enough about strats that these teams aren't doing. Let's talk about what they are doing. We have everything set up fairly standard here on the site walls with bandit batteries holding things back. But we do not have Orphic taking a push here from the balcony into study, which is the standard push. Instead, they are all coming over from the backside. Simple Silent does get taken down. But he is just down but not out. He's not finished off yet. Hayden is going to push forward to try to either finish off that kill or get a refrag or a double kill, depending on how this is going to work out. Simple Silent is going to remain down, and he's going to be watched here like a lion watching over a dead gazelle until his lady friends turn up to feast. He's just sitting, waiting for a likely revive, but it's not going to happen. Simple Silent is going to be allowed to stay up. Hayden isn't going to finish him off, so Silent is able to just play the part of a human drone here in the corner and give calls out to his teammates. They just don't realise that he's not dead, do they? Well, they don't know he's there. How is he being allowed to stay alive this long? This is a misplay from Orphic, I think, letting him stay alive for all of that time. El Stapo, I don't think realized he downed him, and that's why he'd been left there in the corner. I don't know. What happened there, Dylan? What happened?
I've got no idea. At the start, I thought Hayden was trying to bait out the Legion and see if, or the Ella, sorry. Oh no, it was the Legion. So see if
Legion,
Fire would go and try and rush the pickup, but then no kill came and everyone just sort of left him in the corner. So, I mean, once he kind of proved that he would have been useless, there was no point really keeping him up. So I'm not really too sure what Orphic was trying to do there.
Yeah, I'm just not sure they realised, because he was just able to give intel. As YJo goes down at the hands of Joshi, is going to finish off that kill with a knife, putting us in a 3v4, and Orphic do have control of this round. As Joshi starts to make his way up the red stairs, with Zika standing here on the classical hallway, or 90, just watching down, wondering if someone's going to push and see if there's some people before he does try to open up this full wall, as Bandit, played by Psycho, does get the pick, leaving us in a 3 versus 3. However, Orphic do have the advantage, certainly when it comes to health, with Veya being only on about 20. Though it does swing around and go back into the favour of Oni, as we do get left with Zika on his own. It looks like this could be the equaliser here at the end of round number 2, as he's got just 5 seconds to go. A load of players to find. He does manage to get one. He's got the diffuser in his pocket, but he's not got time to stick the plant. He's going to have a last-ditch effort, but there just isn't time. It just isn't worth it. And at the last moment, he does get taken out, and that is a round going to Oni. Based on time.
Yeah, that was really scruffy from the side of Orphic. They got, you know, the 2-player advantage, or the 1-player advantage, sorry, 4 versus 3. And they just didn't really seem to react to Psycho. He just ran around peeking doorways off his side and just mowing people down with the MP7. And once that happened, it just seemed like Orphic had no real answer, and then carried on trying to double stack on the door, force their way in when it was evidently clear that they couldn't. But I was going to say before that round, because at the start I was thinking, you know what, this is looking like an Orphic round, that the composition they've got of a Gridlock Jackal makes it so difficult to roam, and with Vigil taken off the board, it's leaving Sign on Force onto the Jaeger, and ironic because they're only the ones to ban Vigil, but he's been caught out twice now. First one goes for a spawn peek, but that door's going to be watched, you can't really go for that. And then the second time just caught out on a rotate in the middle of no man's land in Red Hallway. And of course he couldn't really guard the red stairs either because there were gridlocks everywhere, and it's just showing that this roam play from the side of Orphic is really, really effective, especially without the Vigil. But it does seem that the executes, particularly that last site, if they don't have a great player advantage, where in that case it was only 1, they just seem to struggle. And I mean, I wouldn't say it was more of a throw, but they didn't react to Psycho. They got 2 free kills at all, and then it just left Zika in pretty much no man's land. But we will see Trophy Star 3. We'll have to see if Oni can build on this momentum. It does look like we're going to get a south to north take from Study.
Yeah, Silent coming over to the art studio, just like he did in the first round when the site was when the site was dining room and kitchen, expecting the players to go up to that balcony, which at the moment no one is. They are all coming in from this side pretty much, except for one. Is there just one? There's 4 players. Where's that last player? Where's he at? Where's he at? I can't see him. Is he over his cams? I can't see him. Doesn't matter where he is. It's not important. Actually, no, I can see him. That's El Stapo. 1, 2, 3, 4. One out on the wall. Yeah, okay. So, El Stapo up above, as I eventually work out what I'm actually looking at in this game. Oh my god. Simple Silent just down below him. Piano waiting for players to come through here, but they're actually not. They do have Gridlock who can shut down these staircases, and that's what she's doing. She's managed to close off this staircase. That's going to shut down one avenue of return for Simple Silent, and he's going to need to go around the other way or use a fair few bullets to take down those Gridlock tracks. And we've got Veya playing over on the other side of the map as Valkyrie, making that rotate up the astronomy staircase to join his team on site. So we have 4 players on site, and we have 4 players over here on 90 and the landing, just trying to push in through these 2 doorways, with Zika coming in from the other side, who will be responsible for opening up this main wall, which does have bandit batteries on each panel. But Shines is just sitting here in the corner. Does Joshi know about this? Bullets are going through. I think Joshi might have an idea, Gonna send a drone in to see if he can find out what's going on in there. As Shines does take a bit of damage as he tries to back out of the corner, so if they didn't know he was there, they do know now. Hayden is going to take down Shines as Wide Joe gets the refrag onto Hayden, leaving us in a 4 versus 4. 4 versus 3 now though, as El Stapo does get taken down, and Josh is going to be the last man standing as 2 quick frags come out there from Oni. 1 versus 4, let's see what Joshy can bring to the table. What do you reckon, Dylan? What are his chances?
Unlikely. Yeah, there we go. Pretty much a great round there from Oni. Interesting from Orphic to send Zika basically to the triple wall himself, and he had no support. They just 3-man stacked up on statuary side, or top of red stairs landing, and they had to wait for Ash to then rotate round. Unfortunately, they didn't get the pick onto Mozzie when Mozzie made a break for it to site doorway, but pretty much that round was just really good from Oni. They got the refrag, which was really, really good, and then again, once there seems to be like quite an equal player count on both teams, the struggles from Orphic and the Executes are certainly starting to show. I'm not really sure who's going to be IGLing this Orphic line. I would assume Hayden, but I'd expect it to be Matty normally, however he's not playing.
I'd assume Hayden,
yeah, we will see the return to Dining, and Vio did get hit clash and he did sit with the castle, but it's kind of obvious they're going here now. So we'll have to see what they can do differently. Hopefully for their sake, Simon doesn't get caught out immediately going for a spawn peak and can actually have an effective run. And hopefully them as a team, they can actually use the top floor to any use, to be honest, because they sort of put stuff up there and ran, never looked back, and it definitely didn't work out in their favour. Be interested to see what sort of hold we get. Are we going to get a standard hold? Will we get a top floor horizontal hold into AVG? But it's looking fairly standard at the moment, though I don't know how many players are actually on that top floor though. There doesn't really seem to be any, which is quite disappointing to see from the side of Oni.
Yeah, looks like Josh is going to head straight for that Astro window and get onto that drone that he managed to put up there. Just watching over. Let's see what he'll be able to find. This Killer 64 is going to be droning out for his team. Zika is going to be droning as well in the same position as Gridlock. Hayden moving in above sight, just going to see those gunshots come up through the floor, and he's immediately going to take out White Joe. Great pick there from him, as he does manage to get an early kill there within the first minute, making things much more in Orphic's favour. Let's see if they can continue to capitalise on that. What's my... oh, there it is. Right. So, Joshy now in Astro with his teammate Zika upstairs as well. Killer 64 shoves him off those staircases as Killer 64 gets taken down, so throws out that tracks onto the staircase. So the player there on the stairs does manage to just finish him off, as El Stapo is going to make his way around the top of the main staircase, with Shines watching the laundry hatch from the bedroom, Psycho down below watching the holes, with Bayer staying pretty safe over here in Memorial, with Simple Silent taking a whole load of damage over here in the vault, and does manage to get the kill onto Hayden, but he is very quickly refragged, leaving us in that 3 versus 3. Now, we'll obviously Joshy go back onto his drones and start to look around to see what's going on site, as they're going to want to start to make that push very soon, with just 1 minute and 15 seconds left to go. Bear has been spotted sitting there in his little corner of Memorial, just waiting. And that shield isn't going to get taken down, as the ADS is going to swallow up 1 breaching round. Still 1 left in the pocket. With Zika still having 14x Kairos left. The hand El Stapo does manage to take down 1. That's a 3 versus 2. 3 seconds to go. The shield finally gets taken down. Footprints are going to get scanned, and that's going to be the footprints of Shines playing on Smoke, who doesn't really have any places to hide, but there aren't many pings to get. He's finished. That's the triple kill for El Stapo, leaving Shines all on his own in 1 versus 3, as 1 player is going to drop through the hatch. Shines are going to manage to get that kill though. That's El Stapo down. He's got 2 more left. Stumphead's going to go out, but they aren't going to blind him. Just needs to keep an eye on that doorway, because that's where they're all coming from. Now that wall is getting open, though, he's going to have 2 anchors to watch. Gas grade's going to go out. That'll slow down the push through that doorway, which is going to force them through the breach. They've got no choice but to go through the breach. There's another gas grenade goes out. That's going to slow them down again. Another gas grenade goes to the door. Excellent work here. Shine's going to take down another one, but he's not going to get Hibana, played by Zeke, who does manage to get that final pick and just clutch things back after a valiant effort by Shines there, trying to hold them off. He just couldn't hold them off for long enough.
So close for Shines. So close. Really, for Orphic, that was a little bit lucky, particularly for the XT. The droning needs a lot of work. Simple Signing was able to just chill in AVG. He gets 2 kills before he gets taken out. And, I mean, losing your Gridlock when she hasn't placed all of her track singers down is not the best. And to lose your Buck as well, whilst he's just sat on 1 HP in Vault. You've got a Jackal and you had the Gridlock. You know, there shouldn't be any roaming issues, yet Simple Signing finally having an effective round on that roam. We are going to see Aviator end games once more. It does seem that Orphic have sort of shifted their comp slightly. They decided, you know what, the Thermite, there's a Fear, they won't really work in. We'll bring a Hibana, we'll bring a Buck instead. They've opted to go for Nomad now instead of the Gridlock. So I'm guessing Killer decides, you know what, this Gridlock, we don't really need it anymore. They're not bringing the mass amount of smokes either, so we're going to see sort of a different style of attack. But we do actually get a Valkyrie, and we'll of course why go back on the Kaid. So we'll get to see where these cheeky black eyes go. Of course, with a lot of external terrain like the trees, you can get them stuck in some horrible places for the attackers, and with IQ not in the meta, they should be pretty valuable. So it'll be interesting to see, I mean, that last style of attack work out just. I mean, it's a 1 versus 3, or a 3 versus 1, sorry, in favour of Orphic. And it gets down to 1 versus 1 and a last-ditch push. And that is the strength of Smoke. There's no denying that. Shines with, I think there was 22 seconds left and he'd just thrown his first smoke grenade. It is really good. But unfortunately not able to get the final kill at the end. It's just unfortunate his teammates got picked off pretty easily by Stato, but that's the last round. It's on to round 5.
Yeah, he had the that he needed. He did a good job with it. But the players that were left just had enough health to be able to just run through those gas grenades at the end and manage to get that, get that kill they needed. Unfortunately for Shines, it would have been a great hold if they'd managed to pull that one off. Great effort. So it wasn't meant to be. Wasn't meant to be. Stapo is now going to make his way into Astro, playing on that Jackal yet again, opening up some holes and walls with the shotgun and looking for the footprints. He is going to find his first set and start to scan them, and he is going to find exactly where Valkyrie is. We know where she is because we can see the outline she's laid down there in games on cams, just watching and giving intel to the team. What the attackers don't know is that there is a black eye just up there above where that player walked in. C4 does get set off, a pre-place C4 that we saw getting put there just in the prep phase, but it was mistimed. And it does not get a hit. It does not even do any damage to anyone. I don't know if Joshy saw that boom mine as he put his drone over. He's trying to ping Valkyrie, yellow ping desperately, but keeps getting the barbed wire instead. Joshy is just going to jump in and start to join his teammate over here, Hayden. Now ping's going out at the top of the wall. They're going to want to chuck some grenades in there to try and take down the utility on the other side, which is going to be either a Kaid Electro Claw or Bandit batteries. I suspect it's going to be Bandit batteries. Electro Claws. There's actually 3 Bandit batteries in Bandit's pocket. Just holding onto them in vault for some reason. Not the best use of utility. Now Bandit's got a great gun and a C4, but you want to use those batteries to the best you can. As Hayden does get downed, I think that was by player. Yes, it was. He's going to drop that kill. As he sees a player, or hears a player at least, coming up the red staircase, 5 versus 3, and Oni are looking very good control here right now, as they haven't lost any health and have already taken 2 players off of the board for the other team, and 45 seconds are left on the clock, so there needs to be some big plays coming up from Orphic here. Can't shoot that Guma. I had this yesterday, at the weekend in an unranked game where I just couldn't take out the Guma, and no, it's not me having poor aim, it just for some reason doesn't get shot, as El Stapo is going to take down Shines, as Zika is getting into a gunfight at 1, but he gets flanked by Simple Sign-On, who is quickly refragged by Killer 64. 3 versus 2 now, 3 versus 1, as Killer and El Stapo get taken down in quick succession, making it a 3 versus none, and that's the end of the round, putting another one on the board for Oni. And this is a beautifully close game here, beautifully close game as we go 3-2 as we come up to the last round of the first half.
Yeah, it has been really, really well played by both teams. So the Bandit using keeping the 3 in his pocket, I believe it's because they're going to throw grenades in. He wants to be able to get the Vault Wall, and that's why they brought the Kaid for the 4 study walls. I mean, usually for that site, the 4 study walls and Vault Wall are like the 5 walls you really want to electrify. So I'm assuming that Psycho was thinking, you know, we'll let them waste a ton of utility and go through 4 Bandit batteries, and that way they won't have enough to deal with the Kaid. I'm assuming that was his thought process. He didn't really need it at the end because they got some nice early picks. They didn't really go for a very strong roam game. I believe it was a late flank from Simple Sign, but at the start was very passive, sort of, we'll sit near site, and once they established that Orphic will yet again go in for a tricky stat retake, they could afford to send out that late round, but they'll be heading back to trophy statue this time. They're bringing a 1 That is a pick we haven't seen just yet. But we've actually got a Twitch from Hayden in that is quite interesting.
I do like to see some Twitch plays. They're going to keep that going alive for late game. Gone are the days when you had, when I first started, it was like 15 shots in a shock drone that go around at the start, just taking out all the cap-can traps. Oh, it was great fun playing as Twitch back in the day. I mean, this is a better, more sensible way to do it, but I do miss those old days. I do miss those old days. Oh, cap-can, 1-hit kills. Oh, my God. Madness. People complain about Legion not knowing exactly how strong cap-can was back in the day. But anyway. Alright, so Joshy playing on Zofia instead of Ash, which he's been doing so far. Gonna pre-fire onto the Art Studio door in case Simple Simon is over there, but he isn't over there. Stapo making his way onto the balcony, starting to push in, pre-firing through that wall, seeing if there's anyone in the games room, or aviator room rather, but there isn't, so those bullets go unnoticed by any of the defenders as drones are being ruled out and intel is being picked up here by the attack. Now, Shines playing here on site has used all of his black eyes. We don't know where they are. Psycho has used more of his cams, his batteries this time, which is very good. Wire's going to be checking his cams to see where everyone is. Wire doing the same for the battery cams, and Simple Silent just sitting here on this bottom floor roam as he has done every other round, which, considering there is a Jackal on the board for a lot of these rounds, I'm surprised how rarely Jackal has actually picked up the Jaeger footprints. Very surprising, very surprising. As Simple Silent does claim that first kill. This is why you have Jackal on the board, is to stop things like that happening, as he has made his way up the staircase and into games, and he's going to be sitting here patiently waiting for someone to try and track him down. But is that going to happen? I don't know. Hayden has Diffuser. He's here in study, making his way towards the site, but he's got no idea where Simple Silent is, who is in the room just next to him. That's a double kill now for Silent, who gets his second pick, and he is going to know that he is going to be getting pushed at any moment now, as the attackers do need to do something about him. They just keep leaving him up. He is there at 90. Hayden spins round, takes out White Joe. Sees Silent coming around the corner there at 90, takes a few shots, but then just pushes his way into sight, thinking better of taking on that gunfight, as Hayden doesn't have all of the help in the world. He's going to pre-fire and just keep going backwards and forwards as he starts to push in. He has Diffuser in hand. He is in a position to plant. He's got site control as Bandit is over there in the bathroom getting into a gunfight with Zika, who just doesn't seem to be able to do anything here, but Psycho can do it with the pistol as he takes it down. Joshi, last man standing. That's the triple kill for Simple Silent. Joshi manages to get one of his own though. He was in a 1 versus 3. And what are Joshi's chances? Do you think you'll be able to clutch this one up, Dylan?
It's looking unlikely with the time ticking down and the fact that he's not even got control of the diffuser. Nah.
Yeah, that was a big ask for him to clutch that one up. Right, we are going to switch sides now, and we are just going to go into a pause for a few minutes. Bear with me, stream. Bear with us. We will call this a rehost, but we will be back. What's the score, Dylan? 4-2. It's a nice split.
4-2. Yeah, so with that previous round, every single attacking round from the side of Orphic, they've had 2 roam deniers. So they've gone Jackal, they went Jackal 6 rounds, they went Nomad for 3, and they went
a little bit of
Gridlock
damage
for
from
3.
it as Nerdsink is going to engage in a gunfight with that SMG-11. He does manage to down Den. 2 gas grenades left here in the pocket of Macros. 57 seconds to go as Cheetah Den walks in, though Macros just sweeps around and gets that frag. Gas grenade is going to go out, but it's going to miss the spot. And it looks like smoke grenades are getting ready to go out. Why is he sending out smoke grenades? Is that to take down, that would be to take down, I guess, the Rooney gate on the other doorway. Strider isn't going to want to waste a drone on it. Lost Hayden isn't going to want to use any utility on it. So Hayden, MC Hayden over here with a smoke grenade could be the play to take down that Rooney gate. Is that what he's going for? It is. He's going to chuck it. There we go. That's that gate opened. Frag grenade getting ripped. That goes up. What a play from Orphic. Now, I've been having a pop of their communication from on round, but that was absolutely superb. With the MP7, we do see the drop into sight, but Xippy does take him down. Xippy does get refragged by Kix, who has also dropped downstairs. Grenade's going to go out and eventually get that kill. He is going to get droned out. He's going to try to take down that drone, and he is successful, but there is a player in logistics as well. That's Cobra Sync, and they are now going to stack up on him. We've got Nerd coming from one side, Cobra coming from the other. Bison is going to take one. Is he going to get any more? No, he's not. He is going to get refragged. But he does turn around as he hears the gunfire. Stun grenades are going to go out. He's going to start to push in. Jago Booted takes down one. Marsh gets another through the wall. Is playing in Garage. He's got to make his way back upstairs. The plant is going down in cash. Macros again is the last player standing. He's going to get 1 kill onto Haters. They know exactly where he is now. As LZ goes onto Cam, Smirksy has already pushed into sight, but he's all alone. LZ is well off site, needs to come and join his teammate. Hicks tries to come in and end LZ's life, but he is not successful. He is laying down, he's going to move. Anime knows that something's going on, but he's going to get peeked from behind by Nerdsink. Looks like he's ready to start making a move, but there is no one there in lobby. There is a player all the way over in Visa, though. And that is Flanks, who gets taken down by the C4. Well played to Mr. Glossy Club. Early pick there for Mirror, who's going to then go upstairs to floor number 1, to floor number 2 for a big rotate. And LZ is a little bit trapped right now as Makarus takes down Joser as well. He's starting to push his way into sight. Oh, he gets the second onto Aza, or Aza. I'm going to call him Aza because that's what I normally call him. Taking a lot of damage here. He has picked up Diffuser, but he's got no way to get into sight unless he goes prone and goes through that hole. But there is a player there in the objective that's waiting to take him down. Glossy gets a pick of his own. Is outside peeking. He knows roughly where the guy is. He's going to chuck in the...
Yeah, so basically, Orphic were bringing in a lot of roam denial. They brought the Jackal for all 6 rounds, 3 rounds of Gridlock, 3 rounds of Nomad. And from round 3 to round 6, they achieved pretty much nothing. Simple Sign were just running around that middle floor as if there was no tomorrow, and nothing was ever done because Orphic seemed to always attack, particularly Aviator and Trophy. They always attacked from the 2nd floor. They never seemed to really even drone out the 1st floor, and that just meant that Simple Signing could just pretty much chill in some random place on the 1st floor, walk out, get a nice double kill, and nothing was really done. That last round in particular, he got a double kill onto the Nomad and the Jackal, who were both supposed to sort of counter him in that way. But yeah, you can't take that away from Sun. It just seems very, very scruffy from the side of Orphic.
Yeah.
And yeah, it'll be interesting what they do on this defense though, because I mean, they've just used a mute jammer and that electric claw on the vault wall. So which study walls are they? I'm assuming that just mute jammer one and electric claw the other, so never mind. But yeah, they really need to ramp up the consistency now because they've had some good rounds, but they've also had some pretty poor rounds, and I think they need to sharpen up on their communication and the decision making.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. As we get into this round, I'm interested in this doubling down here on wall denial of vault. I mean, I realise that signal jam is actually there to stop drones from coming in, but it also does act as a second stopper for this wall should anyone manage to take down that electro claw or the signal jammer. There is no Maverick in play here, even though he's not banned, so Maverick isn't going to be able to open up little holes they can chuck a grenade over, and there have been no holes prepped by defence, which is a common thing for impact tricking. So Yeah, let's see how this one's going to play out. Why go playing underneath as a nomad? He's going to be... I'm interested why he's downstairs rather than upstairs blocking off stuff over here. I mean, we've got 3 defenders over here on the other side of the map with only 2 players on site. If we had a great bit of drone work coming out here from Oni, they'd be able to read into this and just be able to storm into sight and force that retake to come out from Oni. But, sorry, from Orphic. But they're not doing it. Instead, they're just losing Joe downstairs, who's going to go on cams, which is what you need from your teammate. We've got Simple Signer watching cams for some reason, even though we have a dead player that could have watched it for him. But he is going to manage to get that pick on 19 take down El Stapo, and that makes it a 3 versus 4. Not quite a balanced man count, but still good enough at the moment. Hayden's going to make his way up this main staircase, but Vea from Oni is going to shut him down, putting him in 3 versus 3. Simon just pre-firing around the corner there. 90 almost takes down his own teammate, but Zika is just going to quickly flick around that doorway and get the kill on Vea. As Psycho is the last man standing on Jackal. He's got a, is that a C7E? It is the C7E in hand, not a PDW9. Spot fade over at the far side there on landing and open fire, but he's not going to do any damage at all as he is going to back out and start to make his way around to the other side of the site. He's got no diffuser in hand. That is just behind him, I think it is. Was it downstairs? That's just there. He has picked it up. He starts to make his way towards site. Now there's a player there behind bar, which is very standard, but as he tries to run away to 90, he forgets that there's a hole open in the wall, which allows the player behind bar to stand up, play peekaboo, shoot him in the back as he tries to run away to safety. So an unfortunate one there for Oni, as Orphic, with a very interesting strategy, actually making it pay off.
Yeah, they had Stapo using the MP5K playing on that middle floor, and it worked out. YJo was sort of running down below to try and destroy some holes and set up some roam denial. But it was an interesting choice to send Nomad down there, seemingly by herself, because it meant that she was pretty much an easy target for Stapo. And it will be dining room, but it looks like Hayden might bring out the cap can. That's rather cheeky. Won't really expect that, so that could be really, really useful if he doesn't get spotted. So they'll be heading to dining room kitchen, and I'm actually really intrigued by this cap can pick. I can't wait to see what they use with it.
Yeah, nice to see cap can coming out to play here. Not often you see cap can get played. I should have a stream achievement for him, but I don't. It's for the Rook, unfortunately, it gets a stream achievement. But still, it is nice to see the cap can. Now, with El Stapo bringing the castle, as we talked about, up in that first round, that castle is a bit of a giveaway that we are going to be getting a dining room hold here. So that is going to be known by Oni. I suspect they have brought 6 breaching charges. They've got Simple Sign and Ash also there with the extra soft destruction on top of those 6 breaching charges. Let's see what they'll be able to do with these, as Joshi looks like he's going to play upstairs with a big setup here with loads of barbed wire in the bathroom. Castle up there to castle him in or out, depending on how good the castle is. Killer 64 is going to be playing on the Echo, just leaving those cams in a position where they could easily be shut out from laundry. I'm not sure that's the smartest place to actually leave the Echo drone, leave the yokai, but it has been done. Let's see if that's going to pay off. Now, Joshi is playing the Simple Silent role here and just playing away from sight, playing that roam game, trying to get those early picks. Let's see if he's going to be successful and if the attack are going to track him down. At the moment, it looks like all the attack are actually coming over from the other side, so Oni are stacking up on one side of the map to take this site, and it looks like they're not that worried about going upstairs just yet. We do hear some repels as Killer 64 is going to watch the cam. Zika playing here on site as you'd expect, but Joshi still roaming around, seeing if he can find some picks up here while he wanders around on his own to not just get kills but also to waste time. We must remember that a roamer's job is to waste time just as much as it is to get kills. Now Zika is on site, Killer 64 is on site, Stapo now down on site, opening up holes, and Hayden upstairs in Astro along with his teammate Joshi doing the top floor hold. Hayden's going to be looking at the wrong position as YJo is going to be the one repelling on that window for Astro, or Pengu as you might call it, and take down that one single PDD. Oh, but a C4 is going to come out from Hayden, and that is going to take down YJo, putting us in a 4 versus 5 with 1 minute and 15 seconds left to go on the clock. Hayden and Joshy still upstairs, holding back these players on their own. Joshy is going to start to run away as Hayden takes down another one that shines off the board, putting us in a 5 versus 3 now. And firm control is in the hands of Orphic Esports as Joshy and Hayden upstairs doing work, just holding back this push. 1 minute left to go on the clock. With Hayden holding behind his shield still, there's no reason for these two players to drop down to sight. Just no reason at all. Because there just isn't enough pressure coming their way from the top floor as Hayden takes down Psycho. The pressure that they are getting just isn't enough. That was the triple kill, I think, there for Hayden. He's got all the kills, has he? Wow. Killer 64 gets one of his own leaving fire. All on his own. All of Oni just spectating via not spectating any drones whatsoever. Free fire there through the wall. Does manage to take down one. That's Joshy out of play. 1 versus 4. But Hayden is going to get that fast pick. As the yokai goes down onto him as well. And that is the round over. And that's a round going to Orphic. Balancing things out now at 4 versus 4. I was getting rather confused watching all of that action, in all honesty.
So that round was pretty much everything that Oni didn't do on their defense of the top floor. They actually had players hold there. I know, shock, surprise. That is probably what you want to do. The Capcom was an interesting pick. Not really sure how it was going to work out. Got a 4K, so Hayden shutting everyone up. But yeah, the Capcom looked pretty strong there. It may just be the gun or the fact that, you know, people weren't really expecting it. But because they also had the Echo being played by Killer 64, it forced Psycho to be playing that IQ role. And that, in this current meta, takes someone off. We will finally get to see a Flores. And hopefully he can do something useful and not die in about 3 seconds of the round. But fingers crossed. But yeah, Orphic, they've really turned the momentum around. And they're starting to stack up these defenses. They won the third site, if they took it second, and they'll be heading to Trophy now. And with, you know, Goyo and Arun operators we haven't seen so far this match. And it'll be interesting to see what sort of strategy they've got. It's obviously going to be quite heavy shield focus, but where the shields are will definitely play a major part in what sort of hold we're going to get.
So we are going to have one Goyo shield going right down next to the bomb. That's obviously going to slow down a default plant should the attackers manage to get in. Zika's going to be putting down some standard signal jammers. I personally would prefer to put that on the other side of that doorway, just for the simple fact that you can see that doorway from landing and shoot the signal jammer when it's there in that position. But if you put it on the other side, it's not actually exposed to the landing doorway. Top tip there for you, Zika, playing as mute. I'm sure there's reasons for putting it on the other side. We will have our ways, right? We will have our ways. Okay, so Joshy, pretty far in possible windows there that might be getting repelled on. Not a bad shout, it is always possible that someone could be repelling there. Ping goes out, he knows there's someone upstairs. That's good map knowledge coming out there from Joshy as he takes down that shock drone. After the shock drone, I think, managed to take down that signal jammer. Yeah, it did. They didn't even need to walk up to this doorway. But I guess they feel they're safe. We've got El Stapo here with a little shield and an ADS or two. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult for the attackers to come here and take down the constructor. But it doesn't matter because, like we say, we've got Psycho playing on Twitch, managing to take it down. And he's going to be able to get into sight and do some damage. Oh no, he goes for the Electro Claw, but it does get shot out before he can get it. So that Electro Claw is going to remain active, and that wall is going to remain firmly defended from the attack for a little while longer. As we've got YJo with the diffuser in hand playing as Thermite, his job will be to get this wall open. He's not going to be able to do that. He is now, though, as a grenade does manage to take down the utility. That's from... Is that from down below? No, it wasn't. Where was that from? Oh, but it does get successfully tricked by another Electro Claw. And that is one of those exothermite charges dead. YJo has one left. They're going to need to use some utility to try to get down that Electro Claw. Use that last exothermite charge for good. We have a quick trade of lives, leaving us with a 4 versus 4. And the attackers trying to work out what they're going to do. Psycho just holding angles, waiting for Hayden to push his way up that staircase. Joshy waiting for someone to push him through the bedroom, but it's not coming just yet. He's going to reposition to try to get a slightly skinnier position and slightly more protection there from that bomb and the wall. Zika just laying down here, waiting for someone to come from the bathroom, which isn't happening yet. Killer 64 just snaking around on the floor with Joshy. As Joshy gets bored, starts to run away. Hayden on this staircase of Astro, just waiting for the push. But Psycho, who was in bathroom and is still in bathroom, does get shot down by Zika. He's just going to lay there in the bath. He's not going to be able to get revived. But why Joe, not typically the fragger, is going to try to make a play here. Chucks a smoke on him to try to get that revive, but he is going to get taken down. It's pretty obvious that that's what he was doing, so pre-fires through the smoke. Do see him lose his life as 2 players go into a down but not out state, leaving us with just 1 attacker left. And Orphic do manage to finish him off, putting another round on the board for them. So, well played there for Orphic as we go into round number 10.
So, droning from Oni not been that good. Hayden was sat there on Astro Stairs for about 4 years, and then finally pops up at the end to make a quick play, get to triple kill at the end. But yeah, really well played from Orphic. They're really doing a good job playing around droning. They obviously are doing it somewhat unintentionally because they don't know where the drones are, but they are playing really well. They've got really good positioning. I am sort of liking what we're seeing. The Twitch is really unreliable, and I would have preferred someone with grenades rather than running the Twitch. And the Twitch losing the shot drone super easily. It's not ideal because then, especially with the F2 nerfs, she becomes not useless, but not an ideal operator to use. So only learning that the hard way. But Orphic, they've won the last 3 defenses in a row, and they're really starting to make a push. They can put themselves onto match point if they win this round, and they get to return to Aviator in games. So things are only looking good for last season's 2nd place team.
Yeah, they're not doing terribly. They've managed to go toe-to-toe with all of this time. I mean, we haven't really seen... Well, I mean, they went far enough ahead at the end of the first half. They had 4-2 up, but the defenses coming up from Orphic have just been really strong. Only just haven't been able to break through them just yet. And they really need to turn that around in order to take a win here. We've got Orphic just one round away from match point. If they win this, that's it. We just need 1 more. But it's not over yet for Oni. There's still plenty of time for them to turn this around. It's not an impossible task. It's just something they need to get over, the fact that they've lost 3 defenses in a row. Sorry, lost 3 attacks in a row. They just need to think of how they're going to turn that around as we now get Aviator in games being brought back out to play because it has just become unlocked, as this is the third round since that site was won. So let's see if Oni have learned enough to be able to do something here. As we can see, Joshy, I was reading my book there, too busy reading my stats to worry about spectating. Just realised that Josh just sat watching cams. El Stapo playing as mute down in the basement. This is an interesting play. Now, you never expect anyone to be in the basement. This is an untapped resource. Well, I say that, they now know that someone's down there. 2 drones go down there to try and find him. So they know that El Stapo is here. Now, I've got no problem with someone being in the basement. This is a great play from the defense to have someone in the basement. But for it to be mute just seems like an odd choice. Now, I assume there's an element of C4 plays from below, but the thing with the ground floor is that none of this floor is actually destructible. It's all hard. So that C4 from below actually isn't relevant, but he will be able to make the late rotate up to that first floor and get a C4 kill onto any players that might be up top if he has the intel, and maybe that's what they're going for. Keep the C4 player alive long enough, and maybe he can get a plant denial with that C4. Zika does go down. Who's it gone down to? That is the magic question. We've got Simple Sinon up there. It was either Psycho or Sinon. Considering the angle, I'm going to assume that it was Simple Sinon that did manage to down him. And he is going to get revived by Killer 64. But Simple Sinon is going to get that frag. So although they managed to get 1 player up, they've lost some very important utility use there, which is the Yokai. Now, they still have the cams available, but he can't deny a plant. And Zika has 2 gas grenades left. He's going to start sending 1 out. But he's got 50 seconds. That's still going to leave a lot of time for Oni to be able to push through. And we are in a 5 versus 3 as Oni have taken control. And are for once, on an attacking side, starting to look like they have a grip on things. But they still have a few players just off site. As El Stapo looked like he was just creeping up there on a player. I don't know what happened. It looked like he'd been able to see for ages. Sinon does get that refrag, but Zika gets another as Joshi manages to take 1 down. Zika does fall, though, leaving Joshi all on his own in a 1 versus 2. I don't know how it took Joshi so long to shoot that Hibana that was on 90. I guess he just wanted the the creep up and surprising factor, as Joshy now just has to sit here and wait for a plant to go down. 10 seconds to go. Veya has managed to pick up the diffuser. We've got one cam, one drone being watched by the attack. Plant is starting to go down. It's not going to get denied. Joshy does not have time. He's going to creep up through the wall onto yellow pings, but it's not going to happen. He knows exactly where the diffuser is. Going to send out C4. It's not going to find the kill, but he is going to find it with his gun, as he is now to 1 versus 1 against Simple Silent. Silent just has to wait and be patient. He's going to hold him full. He doesn't need to push it. He just needs to wait and be patient and wait until he hears that diffuser and go for the kill. But Joshy knows exactly where he is, and he's going to try and bait him out. Pros don't fake, but does Joshy? That's the question. Joshy does fake. 1 versus 1. He's going to push that vault. He knows he needs to get that kill. Veya isn't going to be expecting it, but he is going to hear him come running up, peeking all the angles, but Sinon is looking the right way as Joshy is looking the wrong way. And finally, we see Oni managing to take control and win an attacking round. So well played there to Oni for that one.
That ran a little bit messy. The roam, I like the idea, as you said too, of having someone in the basement, but the mute was quite slow on the rotate back. I think the thing with the Hibana was on the other side of the pillar, and I don't think Slapper wanted to risk his shot.
Yeah.
However, it didn't help that he whiffed his shots on the Zafir, who came for the refrag. Had he killed the Zafir there or got out after killing the Hibana, we could have seen a very different round. But it just seemed a bit anticlimactic. He basically rotated all the way from basement. And once they knew he was down there, Oni made the correct decision and deciding, you know what, let's just go for sight. We can brute force this 5v4. They got a nice down onto Zika. They got a nice pick onto the player that revived him. I want to say it was Killer 64. It just seemed the mute roam, good idea, but very, very slow in rotating back to site. I think that's what cost them a lot at the end, because I think Orphic, might have overestimated their abilities at holding that site 4v5, and they did sort of pay the price for that. They've lost their momentum, and the score's been tied up 5-5, and well, they don't have to, but they're showing to go back to dining. They're actually bringing their Doc now.
Yeah, that's why I was watching him, because I was thinking, Doc, interesting. We don't often see a Doc coming into play, so interesting to see Joshy bring that out, considering he's been playing very fragging roles so far.
10 seconds left.
What do you think will be the plan here? Some spawn peaks? He's not really going for that just yet.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm not really sure what Joshy's trying to do. I'm assuming he's going to sort of be somewhere. I'm assuming that we're going to see some risky plays from the roamers, and he'll be there to stim them up, or he might just play slightly aggressive, as he is currently at my Astro stairs.
Yeah. Okay, well let's see what tries to do. He isn't going for the spawn peak, so yeah, here's what it is. No fun there. All right, El Stapo parceling up stuff. Not upstairs, but downstairs instead, which is unusual. We don't have anyone going upstairs just yet from Oni. They are instead deciding to just stay on the same level as the objective, kind of outside on the balcony. So it looks like we are going to get a bit more of a push, possibly from Pantry, as Sinon is down there, ready to make his way up, it looks like. Psycho droning, YJ getting ready to push in and start opening stuff up, so they can get into the plant. One gas grenade has gone out already within the first minute. Sinon is down below, expecting, I guess, someone to be down here, but there isn't anyone down here this time. He's getting ready to make his push upstairs. We can see that that wall has been opened up already, so Hibana has already worked her magic and opened up a hole here, allowing a line of sight into the kitchen, but it does also allow a line of sight for Killer 64 and Echo onto that balcony window and also the staircase, as YJ has taken a hell of a lot of damage. He's got 1 HP. That's all he's got left. And Sinon, he's doing better, but not in an ideal position down here in the basement. Now we still have 4 players over here. 3 on site, with Hayden starting to make his way back, as Joshy does manage to get that pick as Doc doesn't need to heal up any teammates just yet. Zeke does take one with the SMG-11. 4 versus 3. Why Joe in a lot of pain right now as gas grenades go out. And that plant did get started, but it's not going to get stuck. Joe is going to take down Zico as he comes through that rotate, and he does go back to this plant spot and starts to plant, but Hayden comes up and manages to get 2 sneaky kills from behind on that pantry staircase, and he does manage to win the round for Orphic, putting them onto match point. Harbana just unfortunately there, just in the line of sight. Well played to Hayden. Unfortunate for Oni.
Yeah, Orphic played that really, really well. They had some really nice aggression. They pressured Sinon down in the basement, and then he kind of froze for a bit. He He had to sit there and make sure that nobody could swing him. And then unfortunately, with him going down, he did place drones though. When he was down there, he placed drones on the stairs that Hayden went up for the flank for the double kill. So not sure if that drone got destroyed, but you would expect Oni to notice. And but at that point, I think they were too committed to the plant. And well, Hayden got 2 birds with 1 stone. We are going to see Flores from Shines again. And Trophy and Statuary will be the final site we get in regular play, and we either go to overtime or we get a win for Orphic. But yeah, it's been a really close game so far, so I think overtime could be quite likely.
I wouldn't be surprised to see it, although to be fair, we've seen 4 rounds played here on the second half. Sorry, 5 rounds played. And we have only seen 1 round get won by Oni, so there's a big ask to win this one at this point, but like, it's not impossible. It's a 4-2 split in the first half. It could be a 4-2 split in the second half as well. It's just, if we look at the scoreboard, we can see that, to be fair, the rounds were much more evenly spread on the first half, whereas on this one, Orphic were the first team to win 3 in a row, and they did it all via kills. So it doesn't look too good for Oni, but it's not impossible. Let's see if they can turn it around here, if they can manage to take this into an overtime position, which would be good to see. Only our 2nd game of the week, or 2nd game of the season, and potential overtime already. So this is nice. This is what we like to see. Let's see how this is going to play out. Now here on Trophy Statuary, what kind of setup have we got? We've got a standard reinforcement, rotating nothing unusual here, standard reinforcements here on the main wall. We've got a Saria gate up there, another one here. That's going to slow down the attack somewhat. What have we got in the way of throwables? We've got 3 stun grenades from Wide Joe, 3 stun grenades from Shines. So they will be able to take down those Rooney gates without too much issue. They're not going to be a big problem. They do have 2 claymores with them, which are going to slow down those flanks, which they've suffered from, or at least suffered from certainly in that last round. Let's see if any of it's going to be helpful for them. But in terms of the claymores and flanks, I mean, they're just stacking up here on the one side of the building, just attacking the site directly, rather than doing anything particularly fancy. We've got Hayden just roaming around downstairs here, waiting to try to find a straggler, of which there aren't any right now, because they are just all focused up here on site. Got Shines on the roof. Great use of Flores here, putting his drone. This is an interesting choice. This has been practiced. This is not something that he's just worked out now. He's been practicing that. And it looked like he managed to make it pay off. He did take down 1 Goyo shield, but just the 1. But Jackal does now get taken out of play, and we are in a 4 versus 5 with Oni not having the upper hand in this one. Styler's going to pick up his drone, take down a signal disrupt, and start to move his way towards the site. Joshy watching cams. Zika just sitting behind the desk, just waiting for someone to push in. Killer 64 holding on to 90, which could be a big play, as Shines on Flores is going to come up to that. No, he's coming from down below, but he's going to run into Hayden down here somewhere, and Hayden does get that kill. But Simon does get the refrag. At the moment, this isn't looking great for Oni. They've got 55 seconds to go, but they do have full health on their 3 players, whereas 2 players on Orphic are low health. It's not impossible yet for Oni, but they've got a lot of work to do in this round with only 45 seconds left to do it. 64 watching an angle, just waiting for a player to come up that main staircase. Oh, as Wide Joe gets a beautiful kill onto El Stapo. He's not the fragger. Oh no, he missed the throws. He missed throws. That stun grenade doesn't take down the Saria gate. Wide Joe's going to watch this angle. Psycho's going to look at it as well, as Wide Joe's going to come in and try to plant right by the doorway. Not sure if this is a great play here, as a C4 does get ripped. It's going to get tossed to a default position, possibly, which isn't going to really damage. Psycho's going to turn around and take down Killer. Plant is successful. Wide Joe is going to try to get away. Psycho gets taken down. Zika gets the kill. They know exactly where Wide Joe is. He gets stuck here on the wall. He's going to look round the doorway, pre-fire it to give away his position. He's got 2 players that are going to push onto him at any moment now. And this isn't really the kind of thing that Joe excels in. Sure enough, he doesn't excel this time either, but he does get taken down. And we do see Orphic taking the 7-5 here today.
That was a very, very close final round. That game in general, very close. Good to see both teams having a very good game. So far, both games we've had so far this season being 7-5s. But that last round, Orphic just looked like the better team. They did sort of lose it in the mid to late stages, losing the player advantage. Luckily for them, the anchors were there to recover. But yeah, just unnecessary picks, or unnecessary death, sorry, on the side of Oni, leaving, well, a good round and game for Orphic. They're making a claim, you know, they aren't just Horrendapool Esports, but Oni as well, putting up